Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Taffy, and welcome back to Taffy playing the Stanley Parable. The Taffy Parable. Alright, Belvidere. I got about a half hour until Thanksgiving food is served. You want to do this? Let's do this.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I know exactly what I want to do. Alright.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Just this once, Belvidere. Oh, I want to escape. Escape!
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Sure wasn't.
Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Room closet.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Downstairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I wanted to do this for a while, too. Ooh. Oh, this feels good. Downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
I'm going batshit.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Belvidere? Ah, shit.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up.
Panicky,
My name is
panicky,
Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What? Come on, Belvidere. Ain't that some horse shit?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Is there a video game that I can play that I don't die in? Like, is there a single... Fuck you, Belvidere. Is there a single solitary video game that I can play? Because I just finished a daily Spelunky challenge where basically a mismanagement of my weaponry cost me my life. So, is there a game that I can play that won't get me killed, Belvidere? I ask you that.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Shut up, Belvidere. I'm not talking to you right now.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh my god, I'm so frustrated with you right now. I'm escaping. I'm getting out of here.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors.
I'm getting out of
He
here.
entered the door on his left.
I'm done with you. We're done. No more talky talk.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Broom closet.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley
Yep.
walked
Not even let you
upstairs
finish
to
sentences
his
now,
boss's
Belvidere.
office.
I know exactly what I want to get accomplished, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. So, alright, and then...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication
new.
of any human life. Shocked, unraveled,
Was it
Stanley
2,
wondered in disbelief
7,
who
8?
orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Not talking to you, Belvidere. I'm pretty upset that you flat out fucking killed me. Flat out killed me. Died my last Isaac run, died my last Spelunky run, had a loss in my last Hearthstone arena, and now I died in Stanley. Yep. I
Deeper into the
am
building,
video games.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Getting out of here, Belvidere.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Yep.
Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh. Wow, Belvidere, you got dark, man.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
And yet here he went.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Belvidere, you've gone to a dark place. You are not the disembodied narrator that I've come to know and love. Whee! Is that it? Wow. You, my friend, are kind of a dick. Oh, wait. What's going on? Well, this is... Hey!
As the machine whirred into motion,
roller coaster.
Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise.
Oh, shit.
He reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Ah! Belvidere! Come on, man! I didn't mean it! I didn't mean it! Shit!
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
You people are twisted. Alright, looks like we're going this way.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Oh. Yeah, narrator. Belvidere. Oh, hello. This is nice.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
I did feel that. I did feel as though that was basically, I was already screwed. You're much more nurturing. Buttons! Buttons. 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 Oh, it's too good. I'm gonna see if I can get Kevin Brighting to narrate like a video announcement of, hey, Taffy's streaming. Maybe yeah, whatever. He'd be worth the money. I would do it. I'm gonna do it if I can. Maybe if he's done with Dota. What's going on over here? Computers with solitaire and DOS and filing cabinets. All right, I'm good. Left or right? Yeah, I don't think it matters. Let's go left. We're basically just gonna be shown all this stuff here. The office. Yep. Words. Green light. In September 2012, we submitted the Stanley Parable to Greenlight, Valve's process for approving games for Steam. The Greenlight page had a series of cryptic photos, which were still enough to win the community's approval. Good for you. Warzone. In early development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on the battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient, and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game, plus some people interpreted it as making fun of people who liked shooters, which was not our intention. Huh. Crazy talk. We're gonna have to explore all of this. What? Cool. Narrator emails. After the second trailer we sent out asked people to email the narrator for questions, We had initially planned to use these in further promotional materials. We never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of those emails. Well, I honestly could not give two shits what normal people think. The lounge? An early version of the lounge? That is not nearly as nice as the employee lounge where we eat our food and fap. Our lounge is blue, and our lounge is awesome, and your lounge here is awful. That is a dentist office, whatever. How am I supposed to masturbate in there? What's going on here? The apartment timer. In a previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. Hello, apartment timer. The cargo lift. The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted it to look more like a place where cargo was actually stored. Oh, cool. The cargo lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. However, after this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death. I approve, people. Well played. Let's explore the rest of this floor. Wow. The escape menu. For a long time, we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this is what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. Is there still stuff we can do on here? Options. Extras. Achievements. Yeah! I'm awesome at this game. Saves. Whatever. Back. Audio. I'll deal with that some other day. I've been told that if we dick around with the captions, there's cool stuff that happens in there. We'll do that next time. I think the next time we play this game will probably actually just be us clearing up all the loose ends. I feel like our time with the Stanley Parable is almost drawn to an end. That sucks. Alright, what else we have? What else you got? Zending. This screenshot depicts an early version of the ending known as the Zending, which was eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. Well, I want that. Zending levers. These levers were originally part of the Zending. The player would pull the lever and the narrator would describe what color lever they had pulled. Oh, I don't get to pull the levers. Levers! Zending model. Zending went through many iterations. This room represents the 4th version of the ending. We thought it was complete, but decided to abandon and change it shortly before the launch. Hello. Oh, this must be the other walkway up. Okay, we'll explore this museum, and that'll basically be it for this run, because there's just so much stuff going on. Screens from the development of the boss's office. Yep. Okay, cool. So this is the right-hand side. Office clock. Sure is. Starting to get hungry. Nom 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 nom. Buttons. Office. Oh, that's oh, I recognize these couches. Isn't that right, Cassandra from Accounts Payable? Underground. An early version of the underground portion of the game. Escape is much more ominous now. Good for you. Narration outtakes. Kevin Brighting, the voice of the narrator.
Where were all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing? Does that sound plausible?
See how it's
to you?
impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design. Textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easy on you. When Stanley
I have to leave. I could sit here all day and listen to Kevin Brighting. If he starts referring to himself as Kevin, I am going to experience a rift in the time-space continuum where I will not understand why Belvidere is referring to himself as Kevin Brighting. Stuff. Countdown desk. One of the desks from an early version of the countdown ending. Freedom ending. This is the freedom ending as it existed in beta. Yeah, that's actually pretty. Monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down. The freedom above and below, countdown below. We abandoned this when the players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down and placed the two endings together instead. Countdown room. Have I done countdown ending? I don't think I have. I might be spoilering myself here. Game design mock-up. Don't care. Is that it? Oh, 427, 427, 427. Alright, there. And then we got stuff on the tables. And then we got stuff on the tables and a painting. Ah, evolution. Evolution. Cool. Is that... How does one end this particular... ending? The office. Huh. Alright, well... Ooh, what's this? Meeting room. Lounge. Yeah. Alright, cool. I guess that'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on behalf of the MrWoofless Channel in the Cave, my name is Taffy. His name is Belvidere, or apparently Kevin Brighting. Impostor. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of the Stanley Parable. If you're an American, happy Thanksgiving today. If you're not American, happy Thanksgiving anyway, motherfucker. Be grateful and stuff for things and shit. Still, I'm really pleased for this. Thank you for this game, folks at Galactic Cafe. We still have one more episode that I'm going to basically call Cleanup, where I will basically just go to the wiki and find all the endings that we didn't already know about. And yeah, man, on behalf of Mr. Belvedere and the denizens of the cave, we will see you next time. My name is Taffy, and I am out. That was weird. I am out. I am out like a man. A handlebar mustache and lift barbells that have big spherical balls on the end. Balls. Testicles.